Sometimes couples don't suddenly fall out of love. Over time, they begin to feel more like roommates than emotional partners. The relationship begins to focus on logistics and domestic duties and stress and work and everything else that's wrapped up into life. And they can feel like what they once had, that spark of aliveness, that closeness, that affection, that desire, starts to diminish or at least no longer feels the same. In long-term relationships, this can happen in a variety of ways. Sometimes affection decreases, sometimes emotional intimacy fades, sometimes sexual connectedness changes, even when those in the relationship can feel deeply in love or love each other. Sometimes the spark of aliveness in a relationship can change over time. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions of long-term relationships, that if everyone started out fine, then automatically it's gonna stay the same over time without communication and introspection and really evolving as our bodies change over time, as our relationship changes, as our life circumstances change over time. For some relationships, lower levels of sex and romance isn't necessarily a problem. Sometimes they feel totally emotionally connected, affectionate, and satisfied in the relationship. But for other people, it can really start to feel painful and hurtful. One person may feel rejected, not desired, lonely, while the other person can feel shame or pressure or confused as to why they feel less desire. And so this is where couples can accidentally or inadvertently start to judge each other, where one person feels like, you don't want me anymore, and the other person feels, I can never do right by you. The real work to address this distance that can happen in relationships is for each member of the relationship to ask themselves, to really be honest with themselves, what their needs are that aren't getting addressed in the relationship, being able to communicate that compassionately, while also simultaneously empathizing with their partner's needs that may be different than their own, and seeing if the combination thereof is emotionally sustainable, if it feels like it's enough to bring enough benefit and relationship satisfaction for all parties involved. And so, oftentimes there's this, again, another misconception that if we just love each other deeply, then we'll have all kinds of great passion and desire and aliveness. And while that can happen for some, it doesn't happen for all relationships, all members in the relationship, right? So for some people, that sex, that romance, that love, that desire tends to thrive in situations where there's greater autonomy, independence, mystery, novelty, nuance, that helps to breathe fresh oxygen into the relationship. So the process of moving towards each other again isn't about forcing or pressure, right? That's gonna create even further disconnect. It's about creating the conditions with which there's openness, self-reflection, empathy for understanding our partner's needs, so that there can be this over time with progress, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but small improvements in action, steps taken to breathe some sense of greater connectedness, presence, and aliveness in the relationship. So instead of thinking our needs need to be met 24/7 all of the time, it's really recognizing that yes, they need to be met some of the time, but so do our partner's needs, right? And so the more that we can be open for that collaborative effort, the more we all show up to benefit and feed the relationship, the more life and relationship satisfaction we have. And hopefully it's fun. All right, take good care.